In John chapter 13, the clock is ticking. It's getting ready for Jesus' death and burial and resurrection. But he's celebrating the Passover with his disciples. And by disciples, I think that's one thing I'd like to clarify. A lot of times we think it's just the 12. But there were actually probably more like almost 120 people that were with Jesus most of the time. That Last Supper might have been, we know for sure the 12 were there. They're the only ones named. That might have been really private. But I just wanted to clarify, that's one thing. A lot of times, disciple just means follower. And there were usually a lot more people, including a whole bunch of women and his own family and several other people that were constantly with him. And after his death, burial, and resurrection, those roughly 120 people were the core nucleus that eventually became the church after the day of Pentecost. But all that aside, whoever was with him that night at the Passover, we know that he did this for his 12 disciples specifically. Verse 3 of chapter 13, Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, that he had come from God and would return to God. And so he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. And he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. Maybe you know this story. You know that Peter resisted and Jesus insisted, and you probably heard this. You probably, I hope, know that what he wrapped this thing up with was he said, if I, your Lord and Master, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, so you also should wash one another's feet. I think he meant that literally to some degree and also metaphorically for sure. That we're supposed to humble ourselves. That, again, it was one more way of something that he'd said over and over, that the least the least to us are sometimes the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. The greatest people to God are those who become the servant of everyone else. My encouragement simply to you today is no matter what relationship you have with the people around you at this moment, serve them. Serve them. Sometimes it's hardest to serve the people that we're closest to, your family, your closest friends, but serve them. And if there's other people around too, serve them too. Be like Jesus. Wash their feet. It might be gross, it might be disgusting, but it's worth it. God bless you.